Hello and welcome to CIPD Bitesize for the 50SO7 module, Wellbeing at Work. Now, this is AC 1.1, so this one is completely free and available to anyone. So even if you're studying with us or you're not studying with us, we're going to show you how to approach this level of unit. Now, as we go through this, there's a couple of things that CIPD have introduced, a couple of new things I kind of want to point out to you that you need to keep in mind, but we're still going to go through all the usual elements that we do within Bitesize, where we're just going to get you ready for the assessment. So, about this unit. This unit explores the importance of well-being in the workplace and the relationship with people, practices, and organizational strategy. The design and development of effective well-being programs is examined to meet people and organizational requirements. So when you're trying to introduce well-being programs, you're not just thinking about you and you're not just thinking about the people, you're also trying to think about the organization. Basically, make everybody happy. How do you make everybody happy at work? And that's what we're going to work out within this unit, or we're going to try anyway. Okay, as always, CIPD have the marking descriptors. If you get a grade 1, you have failed. If you get a grade 2, you get a low pass, 3 pass, 4 high pass. You can get 2s all the way through, you still pass the unit. You can get a 1, you've failed the unit. If you get a 1 on any of the questions, you refer on the unit and you would need to resubmit. Same rules apply. It's everything like that. Now, some centers will provide feedback for everything, whether you score a 4 or you score a 2. Some centers will provide feedback if you only score a 1. CIPD's requirement is you need to give generalized overall feedback, and then you need to provide feedback for any 1s. You don't necessarily have to provide feedback for 2s, 3s, and 4s. So if you're like, well, I got a 2, but how could I got a 3? How could I got a 4? Don't stress about it. At no point within your career is anyone going to turn around to you and say, you scored, tell me what grade you got on AC 1.1 in this unit and this, that. At the end of the day, you pass the unit, you fail the unit. It's like a driving test. You've either completed the unit or you've not completed the unit, and you need to do some bits to complete the unit. Don't stress too much about whether you get 2s, 3s, or 4s. It's basically fail, pass, pass, pass. You'll be okay. Okay, so about this unit. And there's a bit of an intro to this unit. There's a case study, and the case study is absolutely essential as you go through studying. So, InsureSave Limited is a growing insurance company that provides a range of products and services to customers, mainly in the 25 to 70 age range, which is pretty much everybody, covering home, car, and personal insurance needs. The company has operated across 3 sites in the UK: Edinburgh, Bristol, and Peterborough. And following a recent acquisition, has a 4th site in Leeds, which is only across the Pennines from me. Although it's snowing today, probably don't want to hit that. The current workforce is 3,347 to 4,554 employees. So it's a big, big team. The vast majority of the workforce consists of frontline call handlers, which is the entry-level role for the business. There are also specific insurance claims handlers and underwriters, as well as 3 tiers of management role. The senior leadership SLT has expressed concerns about the level of inexperience among the workforce following 2 years of high attrition, employee turnover, after the pandemic, and more recently, the increase in sickness absence due to sickness. The following charts outline the types of roles, age profiles, and tenure across the organization, as well as the current absence reasons. Remember, it's critical for this unit. You work for InsureSave. Don't work for who you work for. In some units, you can work for the organization you currently work for, and then you can do some bits and pieces and build on it. You work for InsureSave. Think about your world as insurance. You work for InsureSave. That's critical, and it needs to be within. You need to think about that with every answer. Now, it's not throughout this unit. I'll tell you when, but you work for InsureSave. Okay. Now, there are some tables, there are some graphs, there are some bits and pieces that you need to look at when it comes to this unit. It's in our generalized summary video. It's also within our VLE. It's in the CIPD learner assessment brief. If you're not studying with us, you need to look at these tables, you need to look at these graphs, you need to look at these charts. This is a bite-sized video, so I'm not going to do a full debrief. You can go watch our full 50SO7 debrief if you want to look at the charts, the graphs, and sort of interpretation in terms of what it tells you and what you should be doing. This is just a short video to focus on AC 1.1, that side. I always forget. AC 1.1. Okay, now, there are 2 parts to every question. This is something which you... Oh, it looks like my camera was unplugged. Now, as you may or may not be aware, there are two parts to every question when it comes to CIPD. You have the marking guide wording of the question, and you have the assessment brief version of the question. You can see both of them in the CIPD Learner Assessment Brief, but I'll give you both when we do bite size so that you can kind of understand how CIPD are trying to guide you towards some of the answers when it comes to the more detailed explanation, and how the summary sort of helps us answer that in terms of what we're asked to grade as markers. Sometimes the short question helps you understand the question a little bit more. Sometimes the longer one guides you. In this one, I actually think the longer question, explain two well-being theories, including how they can be applied to current issues of well-being at work, is actually more helpful than the marking guide, which is just explain key issues. Now, you have 333 words to answer this question, because overall you've got, when it comes to assessment one, you have a grand total of 2,000 words to answer 6 questions. So 2,000 divided by 6 says is 333 words. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is going to break down the question. That's always what we do, but I would try and take the word count for the section. So part 1, which is AC 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3, they're 6. They have a total of 2,000 words as a written paper. So I would take my word count, which is 2,000 words, I would divide it by 6. That's 333.33 words recurring, and that will be my word count. You can go 10% over, a word over 10%, and it's an instantaneous refer on the assessment. You can go 10% under. Anything less than 10%, you're not adding enough depth. There's not a chance on this planet. It's the word count's always going to be tricky with CIPD because they're trying to make you answer as much as possible and holistically think about it. So there we go. Let's break it down. Explain. That's the verb. Verb's critical when it comes to CIPD. If you don't answer the verb, you don't answer the question. It's the biggest mistake people make, is they just forget the verb. 2. So you've been given a number. These are the ways that you need to do it. Key well-being theories, including how they can be applied to current issues of well-being in the workplace. Now, this is where it's not essential for part 1, but I would look at the data from InsureSave and go, what are their current issues and how can these well-being theories be applied to InsureSave? Because they give you a lot of really useful information, and sometimes you just need a little bit of a sort of a leeway into it. So look at the graphs, look at the charts, look at the problems that they're dealing with. How can the well-being theories that you're about to read help you with the current issues in the workplace? As always, references, citations are critical. So when you're doing theories, you pull out the theory. How does it help? Well, here's some data, here's some stats, here's some information that do that. But if we just break down the question in terms of how I would do it, so verb. The verb is explain, which is to make something clear or easy to understand by describing or giving information about it. I would break this question down into 4 action points. Now, remember, you've got 333 words. So 333 words divided by 4 means you've only got 83 words per action point. So action point 1, well-being theory 1. Explain what the well-being theory 1 is. Action point 2, how this theory can be applied to current issues. I would use InsureSave and I would write, this is how it applies to InsureSave. It's not critical for part 1. You'll hear me say this a lot, but I think the more you do it, the more you're thinking about the case study, the more you've got it at the forefront of your mind, the easier it will be when you hit part 2. How can this be applied to current issues? Subheading 2. Action point 3, well-being theory 2, because you've been asked 2 theories and how this can be applied to InsureSave, which is point 2. Case studies help prove how things can be applied in the workplace. So surveys, research, reports. CIPD loves CIPD. You'll hear me say that a lot as well, or you've probably heard me say it 1,000 times already. CIPD loves CIPD, so they do lots of reports, they do lots of surveys, they do lots of case studies. Pull out some data. So if you're looking at a well-being theory, what data supports, what data does this theory give you to prove that it could be applied in the InsureSave workforce? Okay. And if you build out your answer that way, if you're going, okay, well, this is the theory, how this is a reference for the theory, this is, how it explains it. How is this theory applied? Well, here's some data that the theory has found. This, again, you're getting multiple references, multiple citations. You're thinking about the case study organization, and you're building your answer up effectively. And that's how you need to approach this well-being unit. Systematically thinking, what's the theory? What's the evidence? How do I prove it? How do I apply it to the organization I work for? Because I work for insurers. You work for insurers. Have I said that enough? I think I've said that enough, but I'll probably still say it multiple times. Okay, so that's how you build it out. That's how you build it up, and that's how you get towards the answer. Now, some reading, some recommended reading. Hertzberg two-factor theory. That's been covered already multiple times within the CIPD qualification that we've delivered. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, brilliant model, again, covered multiple times. So again, these are things that you can take learning that you've previously got and bring it forward into this wellbeing module. There's also the PERMA model, which is Martin Seligman in terms of wellbeing theories and stuff. So I'm giving you 3 to read. What speaks to you? What speaks to you when you're thinking about insurers? Say, what makes sense to you? How can you best answer the question? These are the things that I would recommend you read, because you might be able to look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs and go, do you know what? I know exactly how I would apply this theory to Insure Save. And here's a load of data about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, because they'll give you loads and you can build out your answer that way. And also CIPD fact sheet, wellbeing work. CIPD fact sheets are a rich source of information. Books, reading, additional materials, absolutely filled with it. To help you bulk out your answer and give you a lot more. Now, one of the things we like to do to sort of help you contextualize the question a little bit more, help you understand it, is we give you what's called a fictitious scenario, just so that you can come at it from another angle. And if you've seen these already in other modules, you'll know that they're always a bit weird. I've gone slightly more left with them this time. Just again, it's trying to take yourself out of thinking about just theory this, theory that, reference this, reference that, question this, verb this, right? So I'm going to give you a scenario and I'm just going to explain it. So this is called the Garden of Productivity. Once upon a time, there was a land of bustling factories and gleaming offices. There lived a wise old gardener named Gary von Gardenface. The land was filled with beautiful gardens, each representing a different company, bursting with vibrant flowers of productivity and juicy fruits of success. The gardener knew that a thriving garden depended on more than just sunshine and rain. He understood the importance of rich soil. This represented strong organizational culture where employees felt valued, respected, and included. A culture of trust, open communication, and psychological safety, allowing employees to flourish. Proper watering. This symbolized fair compensation, benefits, work-life balance, employees needing to feel refreshed and rejuvenated to give their best. Weeding out negativity, and this represented addressing workplace stresses like bullying, discrimination, and burnout. These weeds choked the life out of the garden and hindered growth. And Gary von Gardenface also supported growth. This meant providing opportunities for employee development, such as training, mentorship, and garden advancement. Career advancement, even garden advancement. Now, one day, the gardener, Gary von Gardenface, noticed that some gardens were withering despite the abundance of sunshine and rain. He investigated and discovered several issues. Over-fertilizing. Some managers eager for quick results pushed their employees too hard, leading to burnout and decreased productivity. Pests and disease. These represented workplace hazards like physical safety issues, lack of ergonomics, and exposure to toxins. And then a lack of biodiversity, with some gardens lacking diversity and inclusion, stifling creativity and innovation. Gary von Gardenface, with his wisdom and experience, helped the company address these issues. He taught them the importance of employee engagement, creating a sense of purpose and meaning in work. Stress management programs offering resources like mindfulness, yoga, counseling to help employees cope with challenges. Prioritizing employee well-being, recognizing that rewarding employees for their contribution and creating a supportive environment was beneficial. And by nurturing the garden with care and attention, Gary von Gardenface ensured that they thrived, producing bountiful harvests of productivity, innovation, and employee satisfaction. Now, this weird story, which I get is weird. It's designed to illustrate key theories around workplace well-being, like the importance of a positive organizational culture, the need for work-life balance and employee support, the impact of workplace stresses on employee health and productivity, the value of employee development and growth hazards, the challenging of burnout, workplace hazards, and the importance of diversity, equality, and inclusion. Hopefully, by understanding these concepts and giving it to you in this sort of weird outside of the sort of the question can help you understand how a thriving environment where employees can flourish and achieve their full potential is beneficial. It is a simplified analogy. I will say it is a simplified analogy. This isn't like exactly how you should be doing your answer, but it's to try and get you out of insurer save and just make you think about it from a different angle to help you build out your question and build out your response. I wish you the absolute best of luck with AC 1.1. If you've got any questions, reach out to your Learn Support mentor or anyone else, and we will catch you on the next one. Take care.